Stop being fuckholes! Alright.
Yay. We honestly had to make this fucking video at this point. From all the fucking bullshit that we've had to deal with over the past few days with the whole etiquette situation, the Ava Dub harassment, and all the way back to Kubo and the fucking Byakuya fucking bullshit. Like, stop harassing creators, you fucking cunts.
It's a good rant to have. I mean, just in general, like, I think there's a lot to be said about what the internet does to people. I think the same people that go on the internet and become a different person from who they are in real life are the same type of people that, like, you know, would actually be affected by, like, violence in a video game, right? Because they don't have that line that like, separates the real world from, like, this world, or, like, their actions in anonymous servers versus real life. You know what I mean? They're not consistent. And, like, those are people that really just need to fucking... They need to step back and realize that they're not just yelling at a screen. Like, I think people genuinely forget that these are real human beings, right? And it always comes down to that adage, like, put yourself in their shoes. Keep it, always consider what that person is thinking, what that person is feeling, you know?
Exactly. Like, over the last few days, especially, I've been tweeting. I put up, like, a memorial in our Discord server and all this shit.
Yeah, and neither of us were even, like, I saw him in memes. I didn't watch any of his stuff, but, like, it's just a fucking tragedy.
Yeah, the only real exposure I've had to Etika was, like, memes and when he was in Achievement Hunter videos. Like, I'm not going to pretend to be a fan of his in any capacity like a lot of people are right now. But he was 29 fucking years old, man. Like,
yeah.
His entire... I went back to a few of his Twitch streams, and all of his content was, like, filled with clown emojis and all sorts of shit, because everybody was making light of the fact that he was having a mental breakdown. Like, he's doing this for attention, and he's doing this for attention, and then the second they find his body, everybody's tweeting out, like, my thoughts and prayers are with his family. Thoughts and prayers were fucking meaningless when you were making fun of the guy a few days ago.
I mean, I would wager to guess that maybe some of those people in that group genuinely did have, like, oh fuck, I thought he was messing around and now I feel like a dick, you know what I mean? But you're right that a lot of them are probably just following the Lemmings, like, horde, just to kind of, you know, add their whole, like, oh, I care too, give me likes. But what I will
even
say
Keemstar flip-flopped from making fun of him.
Keemstar, the thing with Keemstar is he... I saw that and I was immediately like, you really can't do a lot of talking in this regard, because Keemstar's whole thing is kind of stirring up drama on purpose, and I don't think he stops to realize that just genuinely makes the internet a more toxic place, what he does, and he like profits off of the internet's toxicity, I feel.
He really does.
Now, to be very 100% clear, though, I am also a staunch supporter of freedom of speech. So I don't think that any action should be taken against any channels that, like, may have reported things on, you know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, I think he himself, if he truly is affected by this, what happened here, he needs to kind of step back and think about maybe just the culture of the internet in general. I mean, did you go and watch Etika's final stream?
I didn't watch his final stream. I watched his a mirror, I should say, of his final video.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, like, he talks in that video about the culture of the internet and how he talks about how he kind of got so sucked into it that, like, like, it was a lot of it was a warning about, like, what the internet can do to you, how you can become a different person and not even realize it. And that's
exactly, like,
it is interesting. You know, it's not a problem. I can say that I truly haven't had that problem. So I couldn't fully understand it, but I guess I could get that.
Well, Red, you know firsthand that I take social media breaks anymore because I get so sick of the drama and the toxicity in it.
I think that's something that differs between me and you, because I think I'm lucky to be able to. I think I've always had the skill to just ignore that kind of stuff or just laugh at it.
It's not that I am truly affected by it. I just get sick of seeing people tear each other down in general, and that's the one thing that I used to be that cunt right there, and I'm not even going to pretend that I wasn't. But over time, I've started to realize that I'm not talking to just somebody through a fucking mirror. I'm talking to somebody that's, actually a human being that needs to learn, that needs to grow. But at the same time, my words really do affect their entire outlook on life, their well-being, really, depending on how, viral I get with my words, how fucking mean, how fucking angry I get. So over time, I've just started to just give less of a fuck about meaningless internet drama.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to point out, because what I have had experiences with is this internet bandwagon of hatred. And what's fascinating about that is sometimes it just feels like people want to just have their say or like be a part of like a group mob mentality. The example for me, it was I used to have a YouTube channel when I was in early high school. And I just did Bleach live reactions. I was inspired by Tekking 101 at the time. I was also very close with Tekking, being one of his first subscribers. So what he did was he was doing a Twitch stream back when he had a Twitch, and he modded who he thought was me, but it was someone under my name because he had mentioned me a lot in those early videos. So what happened was this guy who was pretending to be me, just once he got modded, he went on this rampage of being a dick and everyone thought it was me. So they came to my channel and just nothing but torrents of like, you fat cunt, go kill yourself, fat fuck, because I was much fatter back then and I was actually on video. So it was just nothing, early high school me, much more emotionally vulnerable me, getting a bunch of that. You know what I ended up doing? I ended up deleting that channel that at the time had like 150 subscribers, and I put a lot of work into. And I still have the private messages between me and Matt, Tekking 101 on Facebook, where I was telling him like, yeah, I'm gonna delete my channel because I can't handle all this fucking hatred and drama anymore. Because I think what actually did it to me was there was people posting like gay porn on a forum under my name. It had gone like weirdly far. These days I would have just been like, okay. But like back then I was like, no, my name is being slandered. So like, it's just crazy how like one little thing like that just torrents into this, like, we have to fucking destroy this person, right?
Yep.
You could even move this to a new example here. This 10-year-old that didn't know who Keanu Reeves was.
Oh, fuck. I don't even know that one. Oh, okay. Oh.
Did you not see that?
Right. I did not pay any. I don't pay attention to the fucking
but I
brothers.
think this is very good for the video, so I'm just going to describe it to you if you haven't seen it. They did a reacts video where they were showing like it was like the kids react to yada yada, and one of them was like the Keanu Reeves stuff, and they called it, one of the memes called him a legend, and the kid was like, he doesn't look like a legend, and just because of that, everyone in the comments was like, we gotta fucking get this kid. So then they found his like personal like social medias, and like they were messaging him like death threats and shit. This 10-year-old.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now I know a little bit more about what you were talking about. Corey Balrog, the somebody that worked on God of War, I think he was a creative director on it, was talking about that in a tweet, and I'm like, holy fucking shit, this is just ludicrous. I didn't see it through Fine Brothers. I saw it through.
No, I don't watch Fine Brothers. I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, ironically, I saw it from somebody that had little to nothing to do with that.
No, I just saw it from something that Utena retweeted, but yeah, it's just another example of internet hate mob.
See, that's what fucking gets me. Like, I brought up at the beginning of the video, like, the whole thing with Bleach. And
if you don't know what we're talking about, a quick little history lesson. It's practically confirmed at this point that Kubo was going to kill Byakuya in the final arc. This is back when he still had a Twitter. When Byakuya died in the final arc, he got a bunch of death threats on Twitter, and Kubo, seeming to actually be affected by those, hastily brought Byakuya back. So these kind of things, it just, I would argue, not only did that probably fuck him up mentally, but because he deleted his Twitter shortly after, but he also it also forced the story to be much less impactful because of spoiled, shitty little fans.
I mean, you get that in the Tokyo Ghoul fandom. You get that in the even Steven Universe
but
fandom.
What you need is an author that doesn't back down or just, actually, perfect quote from Stephen Moffat, writer of Doctor Who. He was asked, what advice did you give to Chris Chibnall? And this was before we knew Chris Chibnall was going to suck as a writer. But even though he sucks, I'm not going to fucking harass him on Twitter. I'm just going to say he sucks here. I'm sure he's trying his best, but I don't like it. Anyway, But so someone asked Stephen Moffat, hey, what advice are you going to give to Chris Chibnall? And he was like, the advice I gave to Chris Chibnall was delete all of your social media accounts.
Yeah.
Like, literally. So, like, it's fucked up, man.
Yep. So the whole reason we're doing this video is there's harassing of the dub voice actors of Ava. Was the original reason that I brought this video up to you, Red. And people actually think that they have any fucking effect over the script that they are handed to read. Like, that is the stupid... If you think for a fucking moment that they can affect the script, they're just paid to fucking read that shit.
Yeah.
Like, it baffles me how fucking stupid the mob mentality of the internet is, to where they can't even properly direct their hate at times.
It's like, hey, are you censoring our form of love? We better shower you in hatred. It's like, listen, like, that's what happened to the lines of Evangelion is fucked up, and that sucks ass. But, like, is it worth death threats? Is it worth the vitriol and anger? Like, I mean,
my God,
I'll be honest. If you ever want to free yourself of getting angry at stupid shit, if you ever look at yourself and say, man, I'm sick of getting angry at pointless shit on Twitter, get into politics, because then all your anger will be focused on actual things that matter. You know, like people dying. That's what actually matters, okay? So I agree that the Evangelion shit sucks. To me, it doesn't go beyond, well, that sucks ass. That's stupid. Why the fuck did Netflix do that? But beyond that, I don't care. I mean, I care enough to be like, that's stupid, and I would, if I was talking to the person that made that decision, I'd be like, that was kind of dumb and kind of fucked up if it was for notorious or nefarious purposes. Either way, though, it's just...
Yeah, like...
It's not important enough to fucking harass. I think, at the max, what you could do is just tweet in a polite, fucking mob mentality manner, like, hey, we disagree with this, that's fucked up, yada, yada, yada. But, like, once you start threatening people, like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, like, we brought this up when we were doing the Voltron discussions as well. Like,
the queer baiting?
The queer baiting, and then harassing the voice actors for that. Like, direct what matters to you to the people that actually affect that. Direct it to the screenwriters, direct it to the translators, direct that, like, hey, what the fuck happened? Like, this line meant more in this format. Don't threaten them. Don't fucking be like, you should die. Don't do the, like, you kill yourself. Don't
Fun fact about human psychology, we tend to ball up into a little shell when people are attacking us, and they're less likely to do the thing you want them to do if you're attacking them.
Exactly. Like, this is something I've dealt with since I was young. Like, the whole, I brought this up in other videos too, like, the whole bullying shit and all that, to the point where I got sick of it, and that's why I try to be the better person anymore. I'm not 100% pure. I'm not 100% without sin here. You know, I'm the type of person who will argue with religious people online for forcing their ideologies on people instead of, you know, practicing what they actually preach, so to speak. But, you know, it's still not. I don't go to the point where I'm telling them to kill themselves. I'm not going to the point where, like, this is fucked up. I'm going to the point, like, this is what the Bible is. This is what you really should be focusing on. Love and happiness and fucking forgiveness instead of, you know, attacking specific groups and attacking, you know, individuals in general.
So main point being, like, just, if you're going to do it, just do it in, like, a calm debate.
Direct your... Right, like...
Well, because
I feel
calm
bad
debate,
for anybody that has to fucking deal with...
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that leads into the second part of what I wanted to talk about in this video, which is, I believe very, very strongly in freedom of speech, and not in just the corny, cheesy way that, like, Republicans say it, like, we're at freedom of speech, and then they don't actually enforce it. I mean, like, literally, unless it's, like, a direct threat of violence or something inciting violence, like yelling fire in a crowded theater, unless it's one of those two things, no one should get in trouble for anything they say, period. I'm sorry, but that is, once you go beyond that, you're on a slippery slope. So here's why I bring that up. This is where we have to figure out, how do we solve this problem of harassment while still sticking to freedom of speech? Because what the problem is okay, what was that guy recently? It was a journalist that was mad at Steven Crowder for using gay slurs in his videos. Did you see that?
I saw that.
Okay, so you know what
remember.
the problem with that is now? As much as Steven Crowder is a fucking asshole, what happens now is they start to censor him, right? And then that goes down to the slippery slope of because here's the thing, it's not as if they can have a human go through and censor everything, or like pick and choose what deserves to be censored. They're gonna have a bot for it. They're gonna have this like overarching keywords bot, and then that makes less things able to be uploaded, and then we start to get into this censorship issue and what's gonna be fucking allowed and what's not. You know what I mean? So yep. I'm honestly, at the end of the day, I am a big believer in, when you go on the internet, you have to know that you're taking a risk, okay? I don't want to be protected on the internet. I don't want to go on the internet, and I don't want the big godly fucking CEOs of Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and Google. They don't need to protect me. They're not my fucking protectors, okay? I don't need them to be like, we'll protect you from the bad, scary content that might hurt your feelings. No. Because I think when you go on the internet, you kind of have to have this mental thing, like, this is the internet. This is all of humanity connected to me through a screen. There's going to be some cunts. There's going to be some great people. You'll meet friends. You'll meet enemies. You'll get death threats. You'll get marriage proposals. Okay? But you're not...
How many of those marriage proposals were somebody in a foreign country just creating a bot
I was just going at what's the opposite of death threats. But point being, I think that in general, we have to promote civil discourse and just nice, friendly, healthy debates. Because I do agree that, and I also think that what we should promote is the ability for someone to just walk away if someone is getting death threaty or if someone is harassing you to that point. So, for example, let's say one of these creators, right? Kubo did the right thing eventually, and he just deleted his Twitter. Or you always have the ability to walk away. So, main point here is it's a fine line. I don't believe in any form of censorship to stop these kind of harassments unless they're literally threatening them with violence. But I also hate the people doing the harassing, so I'm torn. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, this kind of harkens back to the whole the intruder in Meg and Gavin's house. Yeah. Like, that's the extreme line here.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, Gavin is a member of Rooster Teeth Achievement Hunter. Someone found out his address and then basically stalked him to the point where he came in and tried to kill... because he was into Meg, Gavin's girlfriend, and then he tried to kill Gavin, right?
To our knowledge, that was his intent.
Yeah. So, but now, how did he get their address? Was that just a hacking thing, or was it ever confirmed?
To my knowledge, they never released how he found out.
Makes sense. I guess they wouldn't release that because, but again, what do you do there? Like, there's no amount of censorship that can stop that.
There really isn't at that point, and that's the extreme lines that some of these people will go to. Is what I was getting at. Like, there are fucked up individuals that will literally go to the lengths of trying to find your address, trying to find you, and potentially try to fucking kill you. At that point is when, I'm a firm believer in the right to bear arms. That's why I stay armed. Not only the location I live in, not being the kindest in, the state that I live in, but I
was going to make a joke about, editing up your address, but I couldn't think of anything funny. Here's David's address.
You've edited out my address.
Yeah. Now I have to make it even.
Please don't. But, that's the fucked up nature of the human mind and how far it is willing to go to its way. So, there's really no clear answer to any of what we're talking about.
There's no one solution. The only thing I can think about it, to me, the general solution for almost every problem is promoting a kind society, a society that treats...
Here's a great way to put it. Okay. If you're saying this because anonymity is the fucking bane of the internet, in my opinion. If you would not say what you're fucking saying under your real name, don't fucking say it.
I agree, but at the same time, I think that part of what makes the internet so cool is that you can be anonymous. Because there's some people that use that for good reasons, like asking questions that they may be too scared to ask if they weren't anonymous.
Honestly, yes, I do see that side of things as well, but in the whole harassment area of things, or what you're saying out of malice, if you would not say that under your real name, to where your employer, to where your family, to where your loved ones could see what you're saying and know it's you, don't fucking say that. Now, obviously, like you said, there's people that do this for protection reasons or some, other shit like that. I know plenty of people that have fake names that they use so their family doesn't know even as fucked up as it is, the little tiny intricacies like their sexuality, shit like that, because their family is Christian and don't approve of that. So I do see the reason anonymity is a blessing online as well, so to speak.
I just think that at the end of the day, this is something that there's no solution to this, other than just promoting kindness as much as you can. And I think that I'm a big believer in being the better person, and because at the end of the day, hatred is a pendulum, hatred is a chain. Someone does something rude to you, you do something rude back, then they do something rude back, and it escalates. I'm a big believer in the fact that you can help. What's the best answer to hate speech? It's good speech. It's not deleting it, it's not censoring it, it's not blocking the person, it's someone else coming in and saying, hey, you're wrong, and here's all the reasons you're wrong, kindly get out of here, and typically that shuts a motherfucker down real quick. I find. Whereas on the flip side, if you censor someone, you block them, then all of a sudden they're the victim, they're a martyr, they're like, oh, I was censored because I'm right, very Alex Jones-esque.
Yep.
So at the
that's
end of the day,
that's one that I have a very, very fine line on. What of his needed to be taken down and what needed to not be taken down.
What needed to be taken down was anything that caused harm to another's life. Speech is only you can only get in trouble for speech in my opinion if it's going to cause danger to someone's life.
The whole fucking Sandy Hook shooting.
Well, yeah, because he was saying shit like, "Oh, these people are actors and they're faking this and they're your enemies." Yada yada. That is what he out of everything he did. That's what he should have gotten in trouble for. Although I do think that he should probably go to court for it. I'm not sure if he ever did. I know they were suing him. But
I've seen various different accounts of what happened out of that to the point where I don't know what's fake news or not.
Yeah, either way, I mean, the main point is internet be crazy. And my final point on this will always be, I still think that because you can't get rid of douchey people. You just can't. Oh. So I really it sucks, but I think that it's all about shifting your mental perspective. You know how many times I talk to people and they complain about some douchebag on the Twitter or some douchebag on this? At the end of the day, why? What's the point? Just walk away. Just block them if you have
to.
You have to go on the internet with the mentality of there's going to be douchebags, and I need to just get used to that and just kind of not care what they think. I know it's not that easy. I've muted
a lot of motherfuckers, and I've blocked very few.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can really do. So unfortunately, a lot of the solution to this is on the user.
Really.
You know what I mean? Because you can't block, you can block people if they're being hateful to you, but if you have a mass mob coming at you, I think what you need to remember is it will pass. Every mob passes, everything passes. I think people, especially people that end up being suicidal, they trap themselves in an emotional mind state that makes them think that they're at the end of a dark tunnel with no light at the end. They truly think that there is no way out, because I've been there. They fool themselves into believing that there is no way out of this dark hole that they've gotten themselves into. From how Etika spoke in his video, he spoke like he had done too much wrong. He had gone too far to ever be redeemed again. That's how he spoke, which is so crazy, and you can tell how deep in that mental rabbit hole he was, because that's not true at all. With how the internet works, if he was to just stay quiet for 2-3 months and come back, most people would have forgotten all of his drama by then. And he could have gotten right back on track with his life. And that's ultimately the saddest thing about suicidal people, is that they truly do trick themselves into thinking that there's no hope left, when most times there's plenty of hope left. And they just have to kind of get out of that state of mind and look for it. So I think in general, and this is my closing statement, and then I'll go to your closing statement, you gotta not only do you gotta go into the internet with a mind state of, these people really should mean nothing to me, and anything they say to me, I should just laugh off. You know how many comments I've gotten on the Hisoka video? Like, weird-ass insults, and I'm just like, okay, weirdo. You have to really go into the internet with that mentality.
Oh, yeah. I see some of those comments, I'm like, okay, so is this a copy pasta at this point, or what?
But yeah, so that's step one, is going into the internet with like just an air of like not caring, and step two is never allow yourself to get so deep into that like internet mentality that you lose yourself, because at the end of the day, you should be who you are on the internet. It should be the same person that you are in real life. There's no need to change yourself, and that goes for the harassers and that goes for the harassed. Because if we, I doubt a lot of those people, maybe some of them, a lot of those people doing the harassing, highly doubt that you would act that way on the street. Why? Because you get your fucking face punched in. So, just, treat people how you'd want to be treated in general.
Exactly. Like, it harkens down to kindergarten bullshit, really. We got to be kinder. We got to change. We have to realize that these, like I said, these individuals that you're saying this shit to aren't just a persona. At the end of the day, when the camera's off, they're another human being. A human being with feelings, a human being with a fucking soul, a human being that has a mother, a father, a fucking lover, a fucking child.
Yeah, let me try to give an example here, because like, let's use us as an example, because all you see about us is the reviews. Let's go through my past month, okay? So I had an incident at work involving a massive argument with a coworker. I lost my job from that incident. I had to find a new job. This new job sucked ass for a while. I had like a couple 12-hour days. I broke down and cried about it. And just today, I realized that my car has something wrong with it that's going to be $700 more. So, and I cried from that. But here I am. And that's the kind of YouTube in a nutshell. You always have to realize that your favorite creators, they have lives outside of YouTube. Then there's good times and bad times. My happy, energetic self in those videos, that is truly me. That's me on a happy day. Like when I'm hanging out with my friends, that's kind of how I act. But there are also days where I just had a fucked up day. One of those reviews was filmed on the day I lost my job. I don't remember which one, but it was. And I still had to come on and do this because I love you guys. Think about that every single time you're watching a YouTuber, because 9 times out of 10, not 9 times out of 10, I don't know however often they're sad, but especially for the ones that are in that sad mental state all the time,
especially for the ones that do videos fucking daily.
Oh yeah, because they like look at your Logan Pauls. They get so wrapped up in content, they lose perspective on their life. But main point of what I was just saying there is they're humans. They have lives. Treat them like a friend. Treat them like a family member. Because if you don't, what the fuck are you doing? What's the point?
So there's a reason why this story has started resonating with me a lot more. Red, I sent you 2 screenshots a few days ago about shit from my past that just randomly came up because a family member was intoxicated.
Yep, your dad, right? And what he posted on Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, yeah, great.
His dad went on a huge rant on Facebook and like put a bunch of public information public that he didn't want public, and it was this whole fucking family spat right on Facebook.
I'm like, great, spoiler alert, I've tried to kill myself before.
Yeah.
Twice. Once when that happened, and then once when I lost my best friend. So this story means a lot to me because I've been at that dark side of the fucking tunnel, and I realize how fucked up the world really is. I realized really, really early on in life how fucked up humans can be.
But I think it's important to also look at the flip side, that there's a lot of good in this world too.
Exactly. Like, I came out of that, started this with you guys, and no matter how bad of a day I'm really having, I could be bawling my fucking eyes out like a fucking 2-year-old. I could flip a switch and I can come back and perform for this channel. That doesn't mean I'm having a good day. That doesn't mean I'm having a bad day. That doesn't mean, really anything aside from that I have normal human emotions just like everybody else. There's plenty of good in this world. There's plenty of bad. Everything passes in time. The shit that was brought up, I had completely forgot about until it became public knowledge. Like, that is shit that was so far in my past that I had just, like, oh, right, this happened. That's the human mind. It tends to heal over time. It doesn't heal all wounds. Time does not heal everything, but it does. Everything passes. To me, I'm like, shit. This was when I was in fucking middle school. Some of the shit that was brought up was when I was in high school. I'm like, I'm almost 30 now. I could give a fuck less what happened in the past. Was everything that happened fucked up? Was everything that, transpired during those times completely unnecessary? Absolutely. But the creators like Etika and everybody else that has sadly caved to mental illness and caved to the fucking circumstances of their lives, they never had a chance to fully heal. So it's a very touchy subject that, in our society, mental illness is still this fucking stigmatized thing. We still treat it as taboo, and from what I'm seeing, like, Etika's friends had put him in the hospital. And because of how messed up our mental health system is, we can't force somebody to stay in the hospital. They can check themselves out, because it was abused by spouses. It was abused by people in older times to where they would lobotomize and people, and to where they would forget certain things like abuse and shit like that. So now we've overcorrected to the point where somebody that is clearly mentally disturbed cannot be forced to stay in that fucking hospital, even if they truly need to stay there and heal. So we need to stop treating this as if it's a curse, as if it's unnormal. We need to actually fix this broken fucking system so people can find healing, can fucking find happiness, and can be treated for what is actually ailing them.
Mental health needs to be treated the exact same as physical health in every single way. You should be able to walk into a hospital just like you should be able to walk into the hospital and be like, hey, I'd like some therapy today. Just as easy as you could walk in and be like, oh, hey, I broke my toe. Please give me something for this. It should be just as easy as that. So, and in general, I think that the solution to almost everything, and people call me naive for this, but I really do believe this, is the kinder the society, the kinder the people. You will always have your fringe cases of just genuine psychopaths, but that's why it's a two-front solution. You make the society as kind as possible by offering things like, free healthcare, free college, just basically a society that gives rather than takes away. A society of wealth, a society of surplus rather than a society of scarcity. And then and then on top of that, you have very, very, very easy accessible therapy. You have both of those things. Not the people without mental illness are going to be genuinely happy. The people with mental illness, it's going to be as easy as possible for them to get the help they need, and you're going to make, just in general, a much happier society. And that's the kind of shit we need. I think it's a combination of nicer society, more therapy, a little bit of thicker skin for everybody, and
the pinned comment. The pinned
comment.
Be
fucking nice. But can we wrapping it up, because that was a good final thoughts.
Yep. The pinned comment,
please.
The pinned comment's going to be the international, because of how YouTube acts with the whole suicide prevention for some fucking reason. The pinned comment's going to be the international lines for all the different countries for suicide prevention.
How do they act?
They demonetize, they age gate, they fucking potentially sometimes even remove the video.
Well, I'm not planning.
So that's why I'll just.
I'm not planning on putting suicide in any of the fucking title or tags definitely. Of this. It's just probably just going to be titled "Stop Harassing Creators." Yeah,
but just out of precaution, we'll be putting that as the pinned comment. It's a fucks thing. Hopefully, if you truly do need help, do not hesitate to call any of those numbers. Please, you are loved. Any final thoughts from you, Red?
In general, every single time, because I've never been close to like actually killing myself. I've never held a gun to my head. I've never had a knife to my wrist. I've never almost jumped off of something, but I've definitely been in the mental state of it. I've been like, I've thought about it a lot, and usually the times that I'm thinking about it, it's times where, like I said, the biggest factor is always that I feel like there's no way out, right? But then a half hour of clearing my mind, and then I'm like, no, actually, I could go to this friend, I could go to my parents, I could go over to this, maybe church that helps people, I could go to this hospital. There's so many people that are always willing to help you, and all it takes is a single cry for help anywhere, and you will have just a cavalcade of people coming to your aid. And people don't think that's true, but it is.
It absolutely is.
So yeah, for me, that's peace. Just in general, be nice, guys. Be chill. Try to create the world you want it to be. I think that was weirdly worded. Just be nice, and the world will typically be nice back to you. And with that, peace.
Peace.